This is History for Cocktail Parties with hack historians Thornton Kennedy and James Ottley.
Welcome to History for Cocktail Parties. My name is Thornton Kennedy.
And I'm James Ottley.
James, this is an episode we've been circling since we launched History for Cocktail Parties.
That's exactly right.
What are we going to be talking about?
The JFK assassination, or more specifically, some of the evidentiary anomalies, the things that don't quite add up.
Do you consider yourself a conspiracy theorist?
I'm not. These are just things that, make you think.
Yeah, I did go to Dealey Plaza. I have visited the book depository when we had some friends who were getting married out in Dallas, and I think Thornton was like 5 years old, my son.
That poor kid.
I know. And on like a sweltering hot Dallas afternoon, I took him to the book depository. We looked at the sniper's nest, looked at the video. They had a mock-up of the rifle in the corner. And he's always been a great sport about going on those trips with me because guess what? My wife was not coming down there.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can top it, actually. I also took my son. He was older, and we were going to do the tour. It was a 2-hour personal tour.
Oh, this is when you actually got to go in the limousine.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it was all very respectful. But what was supposed to be a 2-hour tour, because of all my questions and whatnot, it ended up being 4.5 hours. My son was ready to kill me.
I love that. Clark Griswold.
Yeah, totally.
And this is like your absolute sweet spot.
I was, yes.
In Will's.
I was teaching the tour guide.
That is.
And he's been researching this stuff since the 1970s.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think one of the core tenets of this is there's going to be some inconsistencies, right?
That's right.
So I think one of the things we can do right out of the gate is to set the stage and talk about the facts.
The things that pretty much are agreed to.
We all agree on.
Or agreed on.
So let's start with just the baseline facts. On November 22nd, 1963, John F. Kennedy was shot at 12:30 p.m. in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas, while riding in an open-top limousine. According to the Warren Report, the official government report that I will talk about in a moment, Lee Harvey Oswald fired 3 shots with a rifle from the 6th-story corner window of the Texas School Book Depository building as the presidential limousine was passing below. The president was struck twice, once through the upper back and throat, and once fatally in the head. Texas Governor John Conley, who was also riding in the presidential limousine, was also seriously wounded. Kennedy was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. at Parkland Memorial Hospital. Lee Harvey Oswald was employed at the Texas School Book Depository building, and according to testimony in the Warren Report, again, the official government report on the matter, Oswald sneaked the murder weapon into the Texas Book Depository building by disassembling it into 2 pieces, concealing the rifle parts in long brown paper bag, and telling people it was curtain rods. Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested around 1:45 p.m. the same day, just over an hour after killing the president, also after sadly killing a police officer with a pistol, Dallas police officer J.D. Tippit. 2 days later, Oswald himself was shot and killed on live television by a nightclub owner with mafia ties named Jack Ruby. Now, after he was sworn in as president and after Oswald's assassination, Lyndon B. Johnson established the Warren Commission. It's officially called the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy. And this was on November 29th. And its purpose was to investigate the death of JFK. It was led by Chief Justice Earl Warren. It concluded in September 1964 that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. And that finding has been debated ever since, including by the House Select Committee on Assassinations in the 1970s, which determined there was likely a second shooter on the grassy knoll and that Kennedy was, quote, probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy, end quote. I mean, that is a U.S. Congress
A lot of people
investigation.
A lot of people think the Warren Commission report was all there was, but it's been investigated twice by the U.S. government.
And there are 2 other details I want to mention. 1, hours after Oswald was killed, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover dictated The thing I'm concerned about is having something issued so that we can convince the public that Oswald is the real assassin. That is a really odd conclusion to reach that early in the investigation.
Especially for the head of the FBI,
Dictating
Yeah.
that Lee Harvey Oswald was the real, underlined twice, assassin.
Okay.
And number two are the words of Oswald himself. He shouted during a chaotic scene after being taken into custody, "I'm just a patsy." Now, a patsy is a person who is easily taken advantage of, manipulated, or blamed for something they did not do. But there's so much more to the story. As you guys know, we love to have a signature cocktail that links somehow to our episode. And today we've got a perfect one. It's called the Grassy Knoll Highball.
I love it.
2 ounces of Russian vodka, because the Russians may well have been involved.
No.
Top this off with ginger ale and garnish with a lemon wedge. And if you have one of these while you are listening to our episode, we will sound a heck of a lot more entertaining. And this gives me a great opportunity to tell you about our new partner, South State Bank. Banking with South State is a throwback to the days when you actually knew your banker, when decisions were made by someone at the local level who understood you, your business, and your goals. These days, banking can feel highly impersonal. Call centers, computer automated phone systems that only begrudgingly let you speak with a human. That's not how South State operates. At South State, your banker is empowered to make decisions. The person you know and trust is the one who gets things done. Unlike most other banks, South State focuses on long-term relationships over short-term transactions. If you have screamed, "Representative," at the top of your lungs at your bank's automated 800 number one too many times, you really need to consider South State Bank. You can check out how South State Bank has you covered on everything from personal banking and mortgages to commercial and SBA loans to investing and wealth management at www.southstatebank.com, or even better, to prove our point, speak directly to a banker at 404-444-0324.
And we truly appreciate your support.
And James, take it away, my
All
friend.
right. All right. Well, first, I want to explain kind of what my intent here is. The point of this episode for me is not to try and convince anybody of anything. I'm not, as I said, a rabid conspiracy theorist. What we're going to be talking about today are just some of these crazy evidentiary anomalies. I find them fascinating in their own right.
Everybody says they're not a conspiracy theorist.
Well, okay. If someone wants to latch onto one of these to further a narrative or whatever, so be it. I'm just bringing to light some evidentiary things that I think are, well, to borrow a time-honored phrase from Rapt-Chanteur, CNC Music Factory.
Wow.
Yeah. These are things that make you go,
Well played.
Right on. So I think your intro to this was awesome. I think it's also really helpful to describe the layout of Dealey Plaza and also a little bit about the Texas School Book Depository to help people understand what we're talking about.
Sure.
So think of an upside-down triangle. That's basically Dealey Plaza. The top line of the upside-down triangle is Houston Street. They pronounce it correctly there. The left line of the upside-down triangle, picture this if you can, is Elm Street. It's actually 7-story Texas School Book Depository. It's located at the corner of Elm and Houston. So it's the top left corner of this upside-down triangle.
Sure.
Right? And so the President's motorcade was going down the left side of this triangle. Again, if you can picture that. So as the presidential limousine is traveling down Elm Street, in other words, the left side of this upside-down triangle, and in front of the Texas School Book Depository, that's when these 3 shots are fired out from the 6th floor.
Sure.
Okay. Corner window. Texas School Book Depository, just like it sounds. It's a warehouse for school books, or was. Think lots of open areas, shelving, stacks of boxes, things like that.
Right.
And I would say, see if you agree with me, that from one end of the building, to the other is about 100, 150 feet.
Right.
Okay.
I think that's right.
And
I don't remember it well because it was so many years ago,
Yeah.
but you're probably right.
Yeah. And maybe it's about the same width. So 100 by 100
square.
or 150. Yeah.
I think you're 100%
Close
right.
to a square. So shots were fired from the corner window of the 6th floor. You talked about that far right corner window. Okay. The stairs and the elevator, they are at the complete other end of the building.
100 yards away.
Yeah, that's right. Or
just for your purposes.
Right. 100 feet. Right.
Oh, sorry, 100 feet.
Right. Exactly. And in the back corner. And one more thing, there is a rail yard, which is basically like several railroad tracks and spurs and things like that, and a switching station behind the building.
And y'all probably know, but like in a game of Clue, all of these spaces are going to be relevant.
Indeed.
To today's episode.
And I also want to go back to your intro. Curtain rods are going to be relevant as well. So just to, start out, a Coca-Cola bottle could prove possibly Oswald's innocence.
I mean, we're in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Could
exactly.
you think of a better tie-in?
Indeed. So as you mentioned, 12:30, shots are fired at the motorcade from this 6th floor window in the Texas School Book Depository. This Dallas police officer, motorcycle cop, Marrion Baker, is about 5 or 6 cars behind the lead car in the motorcade. He hears these shots, sees a huge flock of pigeons flying off the top of the building. So he figures, man, that's where the shots
came
exactly.
From. Right.
And he's like, okay, well, let me ride over there as fast as I can. He parks his motorcycle. He runs into the building.
For all intents and purposes, the first official person on the
That's
scene.
right. Exactly. And he runs through the front door into the lobby. He asks where the elevator or the stairs are. Building manager kind of speaks up, says, hey, I'm the building manager. The two of them run up the stairs to the 2nd floor. As they arrive on the 2nd floor, Officer Baker, he sees a man through this glass door. Actually, it's not a glass door. It's one of those old doors, like with a little glass square that you can see through that. And he sees a man walking kind of the other way. Officer Baker calls out to him. The guy turns around. It's Lee Harvey Oswald. Officer Baker, asks the office manager, does this man work here? He says, yes. So they keep going. Kind of funny that that's their first encounter with this guy.
And I mean, it is really quickly after the shots are fired.
I'm going to tell you how quickly. So in an interview, Officer Baker said that Oswald was calm, just ordinary, not excited. These shots were fired on the 6th floor. For Oswald to get down to the 2nd floor and then be completely calm and at ease.
Maybe he took the elevator, James.
Well, actually, he did not take the elevator because that is in the Warren report. The elevators were on the 5th floor.
And elevators aren't that fast.
That's right. So he testifies for the Warren Commission, quote, did not seem excited or overly afraid. And the other thing is he tells the Warren Commission he didn't have anything in his hands.
Right.
Remember that.
Yep.
Remember that. So the FBI runs tests to see how long it would take Officer Baker to get to the 2nd floor from, hearing the shots, driving his motorcycle over. FBI determined that to drive his motorcycle over, park it out front, run up the stairs to the 2nd floor would take 1 minute and 18 seconds. Okay.
Right.
After, again, shots fired at 12:30, 1 minute, 18 seconds. He would be on the 2nd floor in order to encounter Oswald.
Right.
All right. They did another test, same test for Oswald. And so it would take for Oswald to run across the entire length of the 6th floor from the sniper's nest, which we said was about
the floors are on the stairs and the elevator are on the opposite side.
Opposite and far corner.
Far corner.
So he's got to run across the entire floor. He can't cut corner. I mean, he can't go diagonally across because of all of the
it's
boxes.
A ton of boxes.
Yeah,
it's a book
exactly.
depository. There's a bunch of shelves, a bunch of books.
Exactly. He's got to hide the rifle.
And isn't the rifle in the opposite corner?
Sure is. And then he's got to run down 4 flights of stairs, right? So they determined that he could do all of that in 1 minute and 14 seconds. Okay. So he has 4 seconds to spare. So it is possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got 4 seconds to just sit down and relax and look like he's unrushed.
Yeah. He's not sweating. He's not out of breath. Doesn't look nervous when Baker sees him.
He is a trained assassin. He knows how to lower his blood pressure.
Ah, I like that. Okay.
I've watched a couple Jason Bourne movies.
But still, 4 seconds. Anyway, 1 year after the assassination, September 23rd, 1964, Officer Baker signs an affidavit stating that when he first saw Oswald, that he was standing in the lunchroom drinking a Coca-Cola.
Drinking a Coca-Cola.
Good.
How is that omitted from the first report?
I don't know. Anyway, so Officer Baker, he signed this affidavit, but he later crossed out the, quote, drinking a Coke, close quote, and initialed it. And so that's kind of weird, that the first, right? That's one of those things that, as we talked about. So Another employee testified that they saw Oswald walk through the clerical office on the second floor at 12:32, okay, holding a bottle of Coca-Cola. Warren Commission senior counsel Albert Jenner Jr. said on TV in 1966 that Oswald was drinking a Coke when the policeman first saw him. And the point being here is that if Oswald shot the president of the United States, ran across the entire sixth floor, hid the rifle under some boxes, ran down four flights of
stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Moved quickly.
Which he could do in a minute and 14 seconds. That's possible, but it's not possible if he stopped.
How fast is the vending machine
to get a Coca-Cola? There's no way he could get a Coca-Cola in 4 seconds. Here he is enjoying the pause that refreshes, and right there, that could be the pause that exonerates him.
Correct.
So at this point, if our sound engineer was not on vacation, this is where we would cue the things that make you go, song.
Oh, we should
then
get that in there.
Quietly feed into a message from another sponsor.
And even though we don't have the music queued up, this episode of History for Cocktail Parties is brought to you by HB Wealth. As one of the country's largest fee-only registered investment advisors, HB Wealth provides wealth advisory, investment management, and family office services to over 4,700 clients. With a mission of bringing unwavering financial peace of mind to the clients they are privileged to serve, HB Wealth delivers comprehensive advice and concierge-level care through a fee-only fiduciary approach. Investing includes the risk of loss, and past investment performance is not a guarantee of future results. Learn more at hbwealth.com. That's hbwealth.com.
We truly appreciate your support.
Thank you, HB Wealth.
So this next one, what did they see and when did they see it? All right. Carolyn Adams, who was the secretary at the book depository, told the FBI on November 26, 1963, this is 4 days after the assassination, that she saw Oswald standing in the hallway on the first floor on her way out to watch the motorcade. The transcript says that she said that it was a few minutes before 12:15.
Right.
15 years later, a reporter named Earl Golds tracked down Carolyn Arnold, who apparently was still working at the School Book Depository. And in this interview, she told Golds that the FBI did not print the correct time that she saw Oswald. She told the FBI she saw Oswald 12:25. And later, when she saw the transcript, it had 12:15.
Right.
She said 12:25 is when she saw Oswald. She said that she was surprised at what the FBI said her testimony was when she saw it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, okay, if it was 12:25, obviously it's still possible. It's obviously a lot more possible if you've got 15 minutes, Right. So, did the FBI change it? Who can say? It's an anomaly.
It's one of those things.
Yeah. So,
doesn't line up.
So I also want to talk about Victoria Adams. This is another kind of interesting one. She was another employee at the book depository. She testified that right after, within 1 minute of the shots being fired, she ran down from the fourth floor to the first floor. And she was going down the same set of stairs that Oswald would have had to have gone down.
It's only one set of stairs.
Those
right.
are the stairs. That's right. She did not see Oswald. She did not hear Oswald. And also in this statement, this was 4 days after the assassination. She just remember this. She does not say anything about seeing or talking to anybody when she got to the bottom of the stairs. And again, this was 4 days after the assassination. To recap, shots fired, immediately runs down the stairs from the fourth floor to the first floor, does not see or hear Oswald. Again, Oswald should have been running down these stairs at that time if he was on the sixth floor, because Officer Baker saw him 1 minute and 18 seconds later, right? So, he's got to be on those stairs or something doesn't quite add up, right? So,
is this back to my elevator conspiracy?
Well, maybe. I mentioned before that she does not say that she saw anybody at the bottom of the stairs when she got there.
Right.
Specifically, she doesn't see Billy Shelley, an employee.
Right.
She also doesn't see a guy named Bill Lovelady. All right. That's not in her information that she gives. So this is a pretty big deal. She's going down the same stairs, exact same time, and no Oswald.
Right.
Doesn't hear him, doesn't see him. Interestingly, the Warren report concluded that she must have been mistaken. And they totally discounted her initial affidavit and in her interview. And you're like, well, why?
Why? Right.
I'll tell you. Okay.
Right.
So it turns out Warren report also had a later interview where she said that she ran down the stairs, got to the bottom of the stairs. She saw two other employees there, and she told them what she saw. These employees were Billy Shelley and Billy Lovelady. The bottom of the stairs
contradicts.
Well, she didn't say anything about it before. And so here's this later interview where she does say she sees these two employees, and you think, well, okay, well, why does that necessarily matter? Well, I'll tell you. So the Warren report also had their testimony. This is the testimony of Billy Shelley and Bill Lovelady, and they said when the shots were fired, we ran to the rail yard, which we talked about.
Right.
As in back of the building.
Sure.
And looked around, maybe trying to see, if we could see who did it or whatnot. And then they came back into the building. This would have taken like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe even 15. And so the Warren report said, gosh, if Carol Adams, did I say Carolyn? I meant to say Victoria. She came down these steps and says that she saw these two fellow employees, and since they had been gone for 10 or 15 minutes, obviously she's mistaken about when she came down the steps. She must have come down the steps 10 or 15 minutes later, right? So that's how they discounted her testimony. But let's talk about this later interview where she first talks about.
Right.
Okay.
Is this the 15 years later?
This one is just a couple of months later.
Right.
All right. So in February 1964, Adams was visited by Dallas police officer Jim Lavelle, who said there was a fire, actually, at the police department. Yeah, right?
Cue the music.
Yeah, her file was burned, and they needed to take her statement again. And this is the first time that she's on record, the second statement, this is one that Warren report used, saying that she saw Ellie and Lovelady. And it's interesting. She did a later interview about this, I guess, with a reporter. I mean, much later. And she said that, she got a chance to review this second statement that she gave and make corrections to it and sign it. And she did not remember the part about Shelley and Lovelady being in there. And she said, quote, if it had been in there, since I did not see them, I would have edited it out.
Wow.
Close quote. And so this researcher, this guy named Barry Ernest, went to the National Archives for the original stenographic copy of Victoria Adams' testimony, the one that said that she saw these two employees.
Right.
And guess what? It's unsigned.
What?
Yeah, it's unsigned. And also, he asked for the tapes. Okay, well, let's just listen to the actual tapes of the interview, right? They're missing. Isn't that crazy?
Cue the music. What? You're serious?
They're missing, cannot be found.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting stuff.
It is interesting.
Things that make you go, All right. So, was there an Oswald lookalike who was involved in this whole thing?
The doppelganger.
Exactly. This poor guy, got him, Ralph Leon Yates.
Ralph Leon Yates, man. The wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He picks up this hitchhiker on the Wednesday before the assassination. Picks him up on a highway that's near Oswald's rooming house, okay?
Right.
And you mentioned, I'm just going to go back in the very beginning.
Right.
Okay. You mentioned that shots were fired, and we've talked about it, from the 6th floor window, corner window, Texas School Book Depository, pretty high up, and that Oswald appears to have sneaked the rifle in a brown paper sack. And with people asked about it, he said they were curtain rods.
Curtain rods.
Okay. All right. So he picks up this hitchhiker Wednesday before the assassination. Hitchhiker asks Yates to give him a ride to work, okay? And he's got this brown paper sack with him. And he said, Yates asked him what those were. He said, oh, guess what he said they were?
Yeah, curtain rods.
Curtain rods, exactly. So he starts up a conversation with him. They're talking about the Kennedy visit to Dallas.
This is so creepy.
Yeah. And the hitchhiker asked Yates, the guy that's giving him a ride, he says, do you think President Kennedy could be killed from the top of a high building or somewhere high up? I think,
wow.
I know. This is the point where if I'm Yates, I'm like second guessing
Wait a minute.
my decision to give this hitchhiker a ride. Anyway, so drops him off where he has to be to, his place of work. And guess where that is?
Texas School Book Depository.
That's exactly
building.
right.
Unreal.
Right. Unreal. So this is so weird and freaky.
Clearly he gave a ride to Lee Harvey Oswald.
Well, yet to be determined. So later that day, Yates tells a coworker about this interaction.
I mean, that's the most important thing is he tells someone about this.
I'm going to say it again. Later that day, he told a coworker about this interaction. All the details that I've just told you. Okay?
That is so
and this
hugely
was
important.
One Wednesday before the assassination. Okay. So a few days later, sees, the president has been killed. And then they get Oswald, as you said, the same day, and he's on TV. And he looks at this, at Oswald, and he's like, oh my God, that hitchhiker that I picked up was a dead ringer for Oswald. And he really thought he had given Oswald a ride to, and dropped him off the school book depository, right?
And the guy had talked about killing the president of the United States from
exactly.
a tall building, had a paper sack with curtain rods, quote, end quote.
Right, exactly. So he goes to the authorities to report this, thinking he might have accidentally given a ride to...
100%.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. When they checked into it, Oswald was already clocked in to the Texas School Book Depository at his job and had been there all morning. So this guy was not him. And so Yates is given 3 polygraph tests, right? And he passes each one of them. Okay. This is so interesting to the authorities that J. Edgar Hoover himself, actually, he's interested in this.
Give him a polygraph again.
Yeah. Okay. One more time.
Go again.
He passes it. And so the FBI, this is just tragic. The FBI determines that Yates believes something that could not be true. And so therefore he's insane. Okay. And they committed this guy.
They committed him. They put him in an insane asylum.
They did. For like the rest of his life. And the Woodlawn Hospital for the Mentally Ill. And I mean, it ruined his life. I mean, this guy was, at the time, Yates, 28 years old. He was married, had 5 kids, spent the remainder of his short life, died at 39, in and out of mental health.
I mean, it is incredible.
Had over 40 shock treatments.
Oh,
never changed his story.
Never changed his story.
Yeah. So the question is, did anyone else see this alleged Oswald lookalike?
Is he truly crazy?
Yeah. Or did anybody else see?
Can it be corroborated?
Exactly. And that's something we're going to talk about next time.
On History for Cocktail Parties, 2-episode swing on Lee Harvey Oswald. Without a doubt, one of James's. I wish y'all could see the grin on James's face. He absolutely loves this stuff. It is fascinating, the inconsistencies. I went into this, unlike James, I really am agnostic about this. I have very little information. Yes, I took my son to see the book depository building when he was a young kid, but that's just because I'm a history geek and I love to go check things out. But I really don't know anything about this. But after listening and reading a little bit, there are a lot of things that, to your point, they make you go,
Well done. Well done. Want to say thank you again to our new sponsors. Thank you again to our current existing sponsors. And thank you to our listeners.
And y'all, please like, subscribe, and follow us. And y'all can go online and see the making of a Grassy Knoll highball. And we will be back with episode 2 next week.
Thanks again for listening. This is History for Cocktail Parties with hack historians Thornton Kennedy and James Ottley.